Issue 99. We start out with Sonic and the Chaotix riding the Chaotix crew flying ship, and Charmy says he's not picking up Lord Sidewinder's ship on the scanner anymore, with Mighty assuming that the ship landed because of that. After a few panels are wasted on redundancy, Vector is in a top-secret lab called Equinox, and he thanks them for the help, with the scientist saying that they owe him, I guess because he's the hero. Some light shows up, Omni shows up, and one scientist says their experiment works, while the other says that if they were able to energize Omni enough to let him teleport to Mobius, they could bring him back to full power. Why don't they just explain that it was Equinox that created the Omni Viewer? Guess not. A scientist says that the reading from the black asteroid isn't good, as its analysis says it's giving off massive readings of electromagnetic radiation, creating an EMP pulse, which will have no effect on the people. I'm not really sure how. Doesn't electricity hurt people? I don't know. But the EMP pulse will knock out every single computerized system on the planet. That'll mean that airplanes will fall, hospitals will shut down causing deaths and injuries, and the banking system will fail. Interesting, but an unnecessary added threat right now since Supersonic plans to destroy all the people after that anyways. Meanwhile, we see Lord Sidewinder and his gang on an asteroid near Supersonic. I pronounce his name differently every time. And he says that he'll call to Supersonic with the power of his mind. So, does he have a device on his head to give him telepathic powers? After Sonic and the Chaotix beat the gang in a fight, Omni shows up and is told by Sonic to teleport the black asteroid to Mobius to avoid Omni being destroyed by the EMP. The story ends with a black asteroid exploding outside the special zone. In the next story, Knuckles and Porker get trapped against the computer, which would permanently make their minds a part of it. It's good to have the villain be threatening, but this is definitely a very threatening plan, but it completely pales in comparison to Robotnik's plan with the Ultimate Annihilator, which, rather than just threatening to kill one village, would have killed every living thing on the planet. That's how you have a very threatening plot for an epic story arc. After the initialization stalling things getting finished, Knuckles somehow bursts out of the green head thing that was trapping him, I guess with his super strength, but you'd think the shards of the glass would hurt him. You could have at least had his fists get put on fire because he has fire powers and he could bring out that way. This isn't too satisfying of a victory when it makes no sense. Eggman tells Zachary to destroy Knuckles and says that he has a backup control panel. Zachary tells Knuckles that he got his robot because he knows where the Guardian robots are stored, so he reprogrammed them. He then wonders how Knuckles broke free of whatever he broke free from 2 panels ago, which was a robot. And we still have to deal with the laziest backgrounds ever. Knuckles is about to attack Eggman when Zachary shoots at him to stop him, and the story ends with a light in the sky, implying that it's Omni about to release Supersonic out of it. In the next story, the civilians are rioting against Eggman while he's away, with Grimer having a stupid line where he asks why the people aren't happy to be oppressed slaves. No one would ever say that! Why would it kill them to have explained that he had legionized his mind, put nanites in his brain, to make it so that he was loyal to Eggman to that degree? But then he would never interestingly betray him later. Johnny destroyed some robot troopers, and Grimer calls out hundreds of badniks against the freedom fighters. Amy suggests trying to use Eggman's weapons at the Citadel, and Tails flies ahead saying that he'll cover her. That's brave of him. He's come a long way from being the team coward. He gets knocked out of the sky by an explosion because he's not allowed to be useful here, again, and the civilians are still determined to fight while he's unconscious. That's inspiring. Amy and Johnny's way gets blocked by slicers, and Vermin threatens them. You know, they might have an easier time here if they hadn't kicked Shortfuse out of their gang. The story ends with them seeing a light in the sky. The first 2 stories were by Nigel Kitchen. In the first story, Supersonic gets teleported to above Mobius because the black asteroid threatens to have an EMP pulse that would destroy all computerized systems. Wait, wouldn't Mobius be threatened by the same thing? And Sonic's going there, but he obviously can't go super anymore, so there's no get-out-jail-free card there. That's gonna destroy hospitals and stuff, isn't it? The second story shows us Knuckles ineffectively trying to rebel and escape from being made part of the computer. And since he fails, it makes the whole story feel worthless. How do you escape anyways? If he escaped somehow but then got caught anyways, then what's the point? And the third story by Lou Stringer has the freedom fighters in the revolt get surrounded by robots and see a light in the sky. And again, the civilians are rioting, which is brave of them.